Akal, and thank you so much for all the viewers who have watched our first book review, which I have posted last week of the books Diamond and the Dust by Saurabh Mukherjee. And thank you so much, viewers, and whosoever is watching this video and have watched previous video also. One small request to all of you that please like and share our content and subscribe our channel so that we also know that you guys are loving our content, and then probably your friends and family can also watch our video. So with this, let me share with the topic of the day. We are actually discussing a product review of Cred Mint. Cred, as you all of know, is a very well-known startup which is helping you people like you and me who are making their credit card payments through them and getting some cashback also. So Cred last week has launched their flagship program of Cred Mint, but it is nothing but it is a P2P lending platform. And P2P lending was not only, they are not the first one who are launching this P2P lending in India, but it has been in regularized environment for almost like 4 odd years. So RBI in the year 2017 had bought this service under its regulatory purview. And even at that time, there were more than 20 P2P lenders or lending players in the market. But then RBI wanted to control this environment so that it is very watertight, and then nobody is playing with public's money. So then it has to be regulated, and then RBI regulated the entire environment in 2017. So in P2P lending, they were it is actually people like you, me, or you, or people who are in the affluent class who are actually having certain extra money who can actually lend to different people, and then they can gain more interest out of that. In a simple way, probably I have 10 lakh rupees, and then say probably my friend Akshay would come tomorrow that I wanted this 10 lakh rupees. I will be lending him at certain ROI, and then getting interest out of that. So what is basically a difference between a bank and a P2P lender? Whenever bank is there, bank actually acts as a middleman. I give money to bank lends to XYZ%. They gain whatever amount they have charged to that person, and they give me the interest, right? Say at this point of time, even the best banks are giving me somewhere close to 5% odd. So I'm getting 5% in, say, a bank like SDFC or Kotak on my FDRs. They're lending in terms of say loan against property or home loan somewhere close to 7.5, 8%, and then they are gaining that 3%, including their cost, and they're giving me back 5%. So in P2P lending, what happens? P2P lending, the most of them are only providing you the platform. You give money to them. Say I give my 10 lakh rupees to any P2P lending platform, including, say, for example, Cred Mint. I give 10 lakh rupees to them. They lend it to people who have put up an application to borrow the money, and then I get the money back whenever they pay back. So bank, there was a middleman. Even if my friend Akshay was not returning the money, he had taken a loan from bank. In that case also, bank would have given my money back, because I have not given bank to lend it to somebody. It is their own business function to lend it to somebody. That is their business. It is their duty of bank to provide me the interest back. In P2P lending, there is no such regulation in between. It is actually a sort of an unsecured loan that you are providing. And then if, say, customer XYZ whom that platform, say for example, Cred Mint has given loan, defaults, then your money is also lost. So why P2P lending actually works? It works because if bank give you 5%, this P2P lending platform will be giving you a different rate of returns depending the kind of segment or niche segment they are actually tied up with. Say for example, if you talk about Cred Mint, they are offering you 9% rate of interest. So giving you a little more information about this P2P lending space, even when in 2017 RBI issued its regulation, they saw a spree of fundraising through of various platforms, getting money from VCs, and then they wanted to give it to people. Some of the major companies operating in this space included Rupees Circle, Finzi, India Money Mart, and then for its P2P feature, Cred also has tied up with RBI approved NBFC company, which is called Liqui Loans, right? So whenever there is a higher return, there has to be a certain risk also attached. So what is the risk? As I've already told you, say if I have given my money to Cred, and Cred has given money to XYZ, ABC, and different people. If they default, then my money also goes for a toss. So keeping it very short and in the definition space, one of the biggest risks associated with this kind of lending is non-repayment of loans. Given that P2P lending is form of unsecured loan, there is no guarantee put up by any borrower or the lender to redeem in the case of default. However, the unsecured nature of this loan is a real reason behind your higher rate of return from the other debt instrument that you are normally getting. So now we have seen that why we are getting the higher returns, giving you a little feedback or a little background check of the company credit for all those who are not familiar with this. It is an app that let customer like you and me pay our credit card bills through the app and earn some cashback or credit points, which we can use to get some discounted offers from variety of merchants. Typically they are they are very fancy products from higher retailers, and it is also a product gimmick that normally I think 20, 30, 40% of people like us normally end up not using the cashback which we have earned in this app. So at present, according to the industry figures, Cred actually owns about 20% of credit card payments happening across the country. So in a very short span of time, Cred has actually gained a lot of trust in terms of customer doing transaction through its app. And the only side effect that Cred has a lot of information. It has a lot of information of you and me. It has a lot of information of you and me, and he can actually analyze about my credit worthiness. They actually know what I am buying every month. Say I am buying groceries, I am buying this type of groceries, and they also know my repayment cycle, whether I am making repayment in advance or at the last date, or I am making it in terms of 3, 4, 5, 6 EMIs. That is where credit knows a lot about us than even more than what we think. So what actually is happening, CredMint, they have launched a new program, which is a P2P lending platform. As we have already discussed, they're offering 9% to you who are offering them money, that probably you take my money, lend it to different people, and then give me a better interest than banks and debt funds are offering me at this point of time. They lend the same amount to its lender who have applied for an application for a loan to almost like 15 and 16%, which is a good spread of almost 700 to 800 basis points. So the spread is pretty big. That is why I think my 9% is almost secured. We will be discussing this, why my money is secured or not secured. But then I'm also into win-win position, and then credit is also into win-win position because of the spread it is getting. And why we think we should be trusting credit? Because credit says that they know a lot about each one of us. 20% of population they already know, and then not population, credit card using population they already know, and then they are lending it to customers whose profile credit score is more than 730. So they are saying that they will be giving it to customers who are credit worthy, and the scope of default remains very less, right? So what is the competition that they are having, or any other new entry in terms of this kind of lending is also I think BharatPe has come up with an issue whereby through an Earthmate, whereby they are offering interest close to 39%, and by getting this money they will be giving it to various merchant in tune of 50, 60, 70,000 whosoever is using this BharatPe app. So what are the challenges that this company have, right? We all know that they will be taking money, they will be lending, but then we do not know about how collections will be implemented, especially in case of skipped payments. As of now, it was only an app dealing with digital transaction. Now, if I have taken a loan and if I skip 2 EMIs, what will be the collection process? We don't know about that, and we don't have an experience about that also. The process and impact of missing interest or principal repayment on the lenders. Say say I have taken a loan from Cred, and you have given money to Cred. If I miss 2 interest payment, you will be charging something to me, but will you be giving something extra to the lenders also who have given you the money? It is not clear. The lending process and the liquidity of money invested is something we need to talk about. They have said that they will be giving money back within 24 hours as soon as you apply for a refund, right? So 24-hour process is pretty good, and I think liquidity concern is adequately handled. And now let us I will be taking you a couple of examples whereby if there are some defaults, what is happening with my interest rate. So I am sharing my screen as of now so that you can also see what happens when, just a second. Yes. So take for an example that probably, I think this is visible now. I am Mr. X and I have invested 5 lakh rupees in with CRED, and they have offered me that I will be given 9% ROI on my money. Time, say for example, 12 months. So the interest I should be receiving is, the spelling is wrong slightly. I will be receiving is 45,000, and they have already said that this amount will be distributed in 200 different customers. So 200 different customer, 200 plus. Like I have taken example, assuming it as 200. So per customer, they would be giving only 2,500 rupees, right? So that even if one defaults, the entire burden would not be coming to me, but then a chunk of customers, so that it gets spread out. So if but they have said that at present their NPA is 1%. So that means my net interest would be close to 45,500. That means final is 8.5, which again is pretty decent given that they are able to manage there at 1%. But then let's discuss another scenario whereby possible NPA could have been 5%, right? Similar situation, 5% NPA, my final ROI goes for a toss. Now it is 6.5. Even better, still better than a bank FD. Now let's take the last scenario. Say for example, the possible NPA is 10. We do not know who are the customers who are actually borrowing it up. If, okay, their score is more than 730, but then if say for example another situation comes up with another COVID, another lockdown, or anything else which results in a business cycle going in recession, and then the possible NPA rises, so my interest finally comes down to 4. So which is almost equivalent to bank. I would have been happy keeping my money in bank and getting so that 4-5%, but not investing here. So the risk reward ratio is actually very sharp when you talk about this lending platforms. So why I have taken numbers of 5 and 10, because if you talk about at present situation, most of them have almost declared NPAs of 6 to 7%, right? So they have declared 6 to 7 NPAs, 6 to 7%, and they have not even coming up with the very clear picture of what are the percentage they are holding up, right? So I think for you and me, it is still a place which probably I would like to wait. And if I talk about the product fitment for a CRED, I think if anybody who is salaried, who is working with a good company, would not be taking it from them, because for him there are better options available from banks and NBFCs, which I would be getting. I would be getting PL at 10-11% if I'm a salaried customer from the bank itself. Why would I be taking it from you at 16%, right? I think the niche, their real niche lies into the businessmen who wanted to take unsecured loan. So unsecured loan these days are starting from 15 to 28, 30%. Various kind of digital platform are giving them at such a high interest rate. So businessmen, proprietary business, or anyone who has just started his business, because most of the business loan products available in the market, they are requiring 5-year vintage, 3-year balance sheet. So if you are a new business and having a good credit score, I think this is where you probably fit into credit lenders, right? I can give probably money, and it would be good for me if somebody who is a businessman with a low vintage, or wanting some 4-5 lakhs unsecured loan, very small businessman, and I am getting the same from the bank at 20%, and I'm getting 16% credit, I will be choosing credit then. So I think their product fitment actually lies into the businessman, which once again can be treated as a threat. Why? Salaried customer are always treated as a better customer for banking or finance platform, whereas businessman cash flows can be really what you can say, not very smooth, right? This month can be 10 rupees, then next 100, then again 5. The cash flow can be very sporadic. So I think given this condition also, their kind of default which are actually projecting at 1% can be slightly higher. So I think we can actually wait for the product to settle down, and then probably invest our money into this. So whosoever is watching this session still, I think probably what you can do, you can subscribe our channel so that we also know, and comment and share whatever you have liked about this product review of Credit Mint. Thank you so much.